less fortunate. So
I like that, man. I back in Wellington, I had someone in my team. Her name was Shanitha.
yeah,
She might even be listening to this. Shout out Shanitha if you are. And she, I watched her do Ramadan. Must have been twice, and I just had so much admiration and almost awe for it, because the closest thing that I can liken it to that I've personally done is I did a couple of bodybuilding shows in 2018. So like when you get to close to show,
that's why you press the 40.
you're virtually eating nothing, like,
Yeah.
or on your carb deplete, for a week or whatever you are. And so I know what it feels like to not have that food intake throughout the day. So I could somewhat empathize, but then the next level to it was not having the fluids. Like,
that's the difficult part.
Yeah, because like I swear, like black coffee and like some BCAAs or something, like pulled me through. So not having the fluids. How do you find that, and what does it look like? Maybe zooming more into the Ramadan specifically. How do you structure it when you can take on food and fluids? You said you normally break it with a few dates, but what does it look like during Ramadan? Because obviously that's a long period of time.
So I'll tell you something interesting. So obviously I'm a qualified physiotherapist as well.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Did you not? I told you before.
Sure, that's cool. Okay, nice.
So when I was on placement, I was working in Salford Royal Hospital, and it was Ramadan as well. So twice I've worked there when I've been fasting. And one of the times, the most difficult time, was when I was working on ICU. So as you can imagine, we had to wear, full PPE, mask. What were they called? What are they called?
Like the hazmat suit?
The
the face shield.
The face shield thing.
Damn, that's a full gear.
Yeah, we had to wear everything, and obviously in there, I don't know if bills are tight. There's no air conditioning. It's boiling. And as you can imagine, I'm waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, maybe even earlier, to pray. Then I'm literally awake. There's no point in me going back to sleep because I'm going to be too tired. So I'm waiting to go to work, go into the hospital, obviously put on all the PPE, and going on to ICU is a whole different level. You're sweating. My mouth is dry, but my body is very wet in a way because I'm sweating so much. And then obviously at lunchtime around about, we go to pray. And obviously, alhamdulillah, that's fine. But then after that, I'm like, wow, I've got another, 7-8 hours of this. And obviously I've still got to, do another half of the day in ICU. I've still got to go to the gym. I've still got to do, X, Y, and Z that you do on a normal day-to-day basis. But it just makes you so in touch with, your creator, because you feel, as I said before, you feel grounded, you feel very humbled, because people live like that every day, sometimes weeks, so it's kind of just feeling empathy for people that don't have that, what's the word I'm looking for?
That option, like they
kind
don't have the choice.
It's like
They do it out of necessity.
Yeah,
they have to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
because of the time of the year it is. It just,
exactly. So that's the thing that really is very difficult. But in terms of training as well, the way me and my flatmate did it last year, we trained an hour before iftar. So iftar is where you can eat.
Yeah. So
we trained an hour before iftar. Then to break the fast, we had 3 dates, and that usually keeps us going for a while. You don't get hungry afterwards. Because obviously your body's kind of used to no food.
Become accustomed to it, right? Yeah.
And then after we go to pray, and then we come back and finish the session, and then afterwards we kind of just stay up, listen to Quran, different things, So that's kind of how training works. But we kind of just get it done, you know? We don't mind. But the sessions are slightly shorter. Training changes slightly, so maybe we won't do as many compound lifts. We'll do more accessory lifts. Say for example legs, we might do like a leg extension, hamstring curl, instead of maybe doing deadlifts or squats or.
Just so it's less taxing on the body?
Yeah, a little bit, because after a while, there was one Ramadan I fasted and I was training and I went really, really heavy, very silly of me. And I don't know what it was, but I had the problem ongoing for about 3 months. I don't know if it was a nerve problem. I don't know whether I'd done something to my joint, But after that, I was just, I need to be sensible, because, your body, you think you're, you think you're kind of
invincible or something.
You think you're invincible, but something can happen like this.
Yeah, and you'd have to watch for even like cramping and all that kind of stuff because you haven't got the hydration, the electrolytes in there.
100%.
Yeah,
which is very difficult. And that's kind of why we like to train an hour before.
Yeah,
it kind of works nicely because obviously we'll warm up properly, we'll stretch, kind of mobility work, and then we'll kind of move on. And then half an hour into the session, then we can have a little bit. Not too much because then we get bloated, feel a bit sick. But then after that, it's all well and good,
What are your client nutrition plans look like during Ramadan? How do you adjust them? Is it just the same food in this time, or is it they all go on a calorie deficit, or how does that work?
So the way I like to do it, so you'll get two types of people usually during Ramadan. So number one, so person A, they will forget training for a second. They'll eat a little bit. They'll go to the mosque. They'll go pray. Then they'll come back and they'll eat a little bit more, spend time with friends and family, etc. Or person B, as soon as it's iftar, they just eat as much as they can, as much fizzy pop as they want.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're tired. They go to sleep straight afterwards.
Correct.
Which obviously isn't the way to do it, So
you think about your insulin and like all of that happening inside your body.
Everything just spikes up. And it's not very healthy.
No.
Fasting obviously is very good for the body, has many benefits for the body, but stuffing that much food, then it comes back to impulse control.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what we learned. But obviously some people, when that clock strikes and you can eat, they don't have that impulse control. Yeah, which is obviously very important. So we get taught as Muslims as well to eat slower. Because obviously, don't get me wrong, I don't know the science behind it, but I know there's a hormone that's released when you eat slower that makes you feel fuller. Which is kind of why I eat with a baby spoon sometimes when I'm cutting weight as well.
Eat with like chopsticks or something when you're eating rice.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, so coming back to the nutrition plans, the meals will kind of stay the same, but for those people that want to, lose fat, lose body fat, lose weight, it's a lot easier for them, because you're working throughout the day, you're getting your steps in as normal, then you're probably only going to be eating one meal a day. Yeah. So usually around that period, even for the people building muscle, we'll either do a slight mini cut or we'll do like a maintenance, kind of just see how your body's adapting to it. Because obviously some of these clients I haven't had during Ramadan before.
So you don't know necessarily how their body responds.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody's different, So it's difficult to gauge, but we kind of just play it by ear, really. So we kind of see how they adapt in week one. Then obviously the fast gets longer, the month goes on. So we kind of see how their body adapts in week one. If they're losing too much weight, maybe you can add little bits just to, increase that calorie intake. Shakes is a very good example. You can shove a load of stuff into a shake and just drink it very gradually, obviously not quickly because obviously insulin levels and all that stuff. But that's kind of how it works. Obviously as well, during that month, obviously one of my training principles is like a spiritual amplifier. So what the clients will get is on the app that I have, they'll have tasks to do. So this could be obviously all the prayer times. They'll all be on there. They can tick it off when they've done it. And also they'll do a minimum of 3 minutes of dhikr after every prayer. So what that is, you say 33 times. You say Subhanallah 33 times. You say Allahu Akbar 33 times. And then you do Alhamdulillah 33 times.